What if I told you that one of the most popular retirement strategies, the 4% withdrawal rule, was never actually built for your retirement and could potentially leave you with a 7-figure account balance and a pile of regrets at the end of retirement? Well, in today's video, we're diving into why this outdated rule might be holding you back from the retirement that you've earned and why the guardrails approach might just be the modern solution that you didn't know you needed. My name is Brandon Clark. I'm a certified financial planner and a certified private wealth advisor, and my wealth management and retirement planning firm has helped hundreds of people plan for a confident retirement. My goal is simple. It's to help you maximize your retirement. Stick around until the end and I'll show you exactly how we incorporate the guardrail system into our clients' plans so that they have the option to spend more, stress less, and still leave behind a meaningful legacy. As always, the opinions expressed in this video are for educational purposes only and should not be intended as advice. All right, so the 4% rule is like the flip phone of retirement planning. It was once revolutionary in its day, but outdated in today's dynamic world. The idea behind the 4% withdrawal rule was born in the 1990s by a financial planner named William Bengen. He asked one very simple question: how much can someone safely withdraw from their portfolio over a 30-year retirement without running out of money?
That first year, you throw away the percentage, forget all about it, and just simply, like Social Security does, give yourself a cost of living adjustment each year so you're keeping pace with inflation.
After crunching the data from the worst case markets, he landed on roughly 4%. That means if you have $1 million nest egg at retirement and you withdraw $40,000 in your first year, then you can increase that number each year for inflation. Pretty simple, right? Here's the problem though. It assumes that you never adjust spending no matter what the market does. Inflation behaves very nicely, let's say at roughly 2 to 3% per year, and your life doesn't involve, let's say, unexpected healthcare bills, grandkids, nice vacations, or even certain types of recessions and market declines. And you guessed it, it assumes you want to leave behind a boatload of money that you never really got to fully enjoy. A client once told me in their 80s that they had lived like they had a $1 million portfolio, even though they had a $3 million portfolio because they were afraid to spend. Now, here's the reason. Even though there are some positives to the 4% rule, here's the twist. Most retirees that follow that rule end up with way more money at the end of their life than they had expected. And we're not talking about a few $1,000s. We're talking about potentially millions. Why is that? Because the 4% rule was designed for those worst case scenarios. If markets perform even slightly better than, let's say, the 1970s or 2000, 2010, you're dramatically underspending. It's kind of like always wearing a raincoat just in case it might drizzle, but in August in Arizona. Now, that doesn't mean that you don't plan for worst case scenarios. You absolutely should, and we do so in every plan that we build for clients. But there's also a fine balance that allows for the right spending where you can enjoy your wealth, but still be protected from market declines. Now, let's talk about Monte Carlo simulations. You know, those fun little charts that advisors, including me, like to show clients to see how safe their plan is. Well, 100% Monte Carlo success rate sounds great in theory, but here's the truth. If you're hitting 100% as a probability of success, it usually means that you've handcuffed yourself. You never increased spending, let's say in the good years, you never upgraded your travel plans, you never helped maybe the grandkids with college, or even took that river cruise in Europe. It's kind of like winning a poker game by never playing a hand. Technically safe and you won, but totally joyless. And what's worse, the 100% success rate means that you're statistically guaranteed to leave money behind, often way more than you ever imagined. Now, all of that being said, having a major financial cushion at the end of your plan isn't obviously a bad thing either. And for some of our clients, that's actually a very big goal of theirs, especially to leave behind an impactful legacy to children or to even charities or maybe both. But the main issue is that some people overdo it, where they leave too much wealth behind beyond what they originally intended and didn't get to enjoy what they worked really hard to build. Point being is that most people don't retire to clip coupons and hoard cash. Morningstar came out with a great article that put it best. Retirees aren't just worried about market returns. They're worried about making a mistake in retirement, overspending, outliving their money, maybe being a burden to family. And that fear causes most people to live too conservatively in retirement. We see this quite often with our engineer and executive clients where they are somewhat hardwired to think the way that they have with years of building wealth. They somewhat deprive themselves early on in retirement when they're the healthiest, most mobile, and most excited about life just to preserve assets that they may never use. But retirement shouldn't be a game of, let's see how much I can leave behind. It should be designed to help you live fully and responsibly, knowing that you have a plan that adapts. Which brings us to the million-dollar question. How do you spend more when life is sweet and tighten up a bit only when needed? And that is where the guardrails approach comes into play. So think of guardrails like financial bumpers on a bowling lane. You're free to roll the ball however you want, but if you veer too far to the right or too far to the left, the rails gently nudge you back to the middle. So instead of a fixed 4% withdrawal, you define a target withdrawal range, say 4.5% to 6%, with those upper and lower limits. Essentially, if the market's strong, you can withdraw more, let's say closer to that 6% number. But let's say the market tanks, we see a major decline, then you slightly dial it back, temporarily, and closer to that 4% number. You don't panic or guess. The plan tells you when and how to adjust years ahead of time. And it's also flexible. It's responsive. And best of all, it gives retirees permission to enjoy their money, not just protect or hoard it. And here's a bonus. In most studies using the guardrails approach, retirees were able to spend more overall throughout retirement and still leave money behind to charity or heirs. And in turn, they actually experience less anxiety around their finances. Now at our firm, we've embraced the Guardrails Method, and here's what it looks like in practice. So what we do is run a Monte Carlo simulation, but not to chase that 100% success rate. We target roughly 80 to 90%. We think that's the sweet spot where you're spending wisely without over saving. We also set personalized withdrawal bands that adapt to your lifestyle, not just some textbook example. We then in turn review plans with our clients on a regular basis, or even more often if markets get volatile, to give them and provide them clarity around that guardrail range. Essentially, we help clients shift between go, slow go, and no-go phases of retirement. So their spending aligns with their energy, their health, and not just their age. The result? Clients retire with clarity, confidence, and yes, occasionally we advise clients to go on a first-class trip to Tuscany. So here's the takeaway. The 4% rule is a decent starting point, but it's very cookie cutter and not the destination. A 100% Monte Carlo success rate might make your spreadsheet happy, but it might also rob your retirement of joy. And the guardrails strategy, well, in our opinion, it gives you a much smarter, more flexible way to spend confidently without sacrificing your future. So if you want to stop guessing and start planning, we can have a conversation around building a plan that puts you in control of your retirement. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's not just about preserving your wealth, it's also about enjoying your wealth and maximizing what you've worked so hard to build. Thanks for watching, and feel free to like and subscribe to see more content like this in the future.